Hi everyone, welcome back to Biology with Insha. So in today's video, which is the part 2 of the video on the digestive system of animals. So in the part 2 of the video, we are going to be continuing from where we last left off from the part 1 of the video. So in the part 1 of the video, I spoke about the basics of the digestive system in animals. So we spoke about physical digestion, chemical digestion, and we spoke about a number of organs that are associated with the digestive system. So we're going to be continuing from there. Our last organ was our food pipe, or your gullet, or also your esophagus, right? So our next organ is our stomach, right? So after we eat food or ingest food, it travels through the food pipe. So I'm just going to get a highlighter to give you visualization. So when we take food from our mouth, it goes through the food pipe or the esophagus, and then it enters a J-shaped organ called the stomach, which is behind the liver. I don't think you can see it in this diagram here, but just get the idea that it is behind your liver, and it is a J-packed organ. Okay, so what is the function of your stomach, and let's also understand the structure of the stomach. So your stomach is a flexible organ in which food is stored, and both mechanical and chemical digestion occurs here. So basically something called a food bolus is broken down in your stomach, both chemically and physically, right? So let me emphasize on the fact that your stomach performs both mechanical and chemical digestion, right? So both types of digestion are occurred in your stomach, and there's something called your food bolus, right? So your food bolus is basically what you just ingested, but it's something that's mixed with a number of enzymes and stomach acid, or your digestive juice, right? So in terms of chemical digestion, the food bolus is mixed with some gastric juice. This is what exactly I meant. Your food being mixed with some gastric juice makes it turn into a sort of a semi-solid or semi-liquid type of material, right? Which is actually called a chyme, but let's refer to this as food bolus for now, as when it is fully mixed with some gastric juice like hydrochloric acid and enzymes, then we shall call that chyme. For now, let us call it food bolus, as it has not yet been mixed with the chemical and the gastric juices yet. So it is mixed with some gastric juice that is present in the stomach. The juice contains enzymes. The enzymes are needed to break down your large molecules into smaller molecules, and I'll be giving some examples of that in a minute. So there's a acid present in your stomach called your HCl. This is very important, and I'm going to highlight this for you. Right? So a chemical called, an acid called HCl is present, as well as a mucus, and note that HCl is essential to kill harmful microorganisms that may be present in your food. So if you have consumed anything that may contain some microorganisms, some harmful germs, the hydrochloric acid does a pretty good job at killing them, so that you don't end up with food poisoning. However, at certain times your germs present on your food may be a bit strong, so your hydrochloric acid is not always successful, but it tries to do its best. So during chemical breakdown, that is by enzymes or the hydrochloric acid, the bolus is converted into chyme. So this is exactly what I mean when I say chyme. Basically, what this means is that when the food that you have consumed, and after you have chewed it up in your mouth, it turns into bolus. But when it goes down your food pipe, let me just show you what I mean. Like when it goes down your food pipe and it enters your stomach, right, upon entering the stomach, and after being fully mixed with some gastric juice and enzymes, and then only it turns into chyme, right? Up until now it was bolus, but now since we're at the end of the organ here where it is fully mixed, we can now refer to this as chyme. Okay, so this is what happens in terms of the area that I just spoke about now was about chemical digestion, right? Some enzymes playing a role with hydrochloric acid and gastric juice, and a little bit of a mucus also was in there. But what about when we have mechanical digestion, right? This is something referring to mechanical digestion. It's not much. So what happens in chemical digestion? Sorry. I think this was supposed to be written physical digestion. It is my mistake. This whole region is your chemical digestion, and this whole region is your physical digestion, right? Since there are only two types of digestion, not more than that. This is wrong. This is physical digestion, okay? That's my mistake. So muscles of the stomach work or churn the food physically and break it down via peristalsis. The enzyme pepsin is present here. So what happens is that, let me just give you an example. Let's suppose this is your stomach, something like a J-shaped, something like this. So there's some walls of the muscles, right, that actually physically move to break down food. In other words, they churn the food into smaller pieces. So you can see this whole thing is accompanied by a series of movements. You can watch a couple of videos on YouTube to get the brief idea. And we know that this happens via peristalsis. What is peristalsis? Okay, let me just have a look here. Suppose that this is your food pipe, right? And that you consumed maybe some chicken, right? So if you consume this chicken, do you think that this chicken will just fall down like this, like abruptly fall down? No, it does not abruptly fall down, just like you would expect a rock to fall from the air as you throw it. You should expect it to go very slowly by a series of muscle contractions. So by a series of muscle contractions, you should expect it to go down and slowly, and the muscles will slowly push it against, so that it enables the food molecules to go down the pipe or through the gut or wherever you can imagine. It could be in the small intestine, large intestine, stomach, or food pipe, etc. Okay? So that is what is meant by peristalsis, a series of rhythmic or wave-like contractions, right? Food does not just abruptly fall or move in your gut. It happens via peristalsis, right? Right, so let's have a look at the diagram here. In the diagram here, this is the esophagus, this is the stomach that I just spoke about. Let's have a look at a bit of an on the enzymes, right? So let's study about the different enzymes present in our alimentary canal that are responsible for breaking down food. So we have pepsin here that breaks down proteins into amino acid. We have your lipase that breaks down lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. You have your amylase that breaks down starch into maltose, which is not yet in its simplest form that can be absorbed by the body. It is then broken down into glucose, which is a simpler form, by maltase. They have underlined all the enzymes present in your gut, so just remember what each enzyme breaks what. For example, pepsin breaks proteins and lipase breaks fats, or lipids and amylase breaks starch. So just remember that, and I've underlined it, and this is basically more than enough to give you the knowledge of all the different enzymes present in your body. For your extra knowledge, you may research more, as there are many more enzymes present in your body, like trypsin, right? But then again, that's extra. Okay, so continuing. So let's talk about another organ associated with the digestive system. Not directly, but it does play a role in the digestive system, the pancreas, right? So we're studying about the pancreas, which is very important, and it plays a huge role, right? So it is the gland where the digestive enzymes are made. Yes, this is where the digestive enzymes are made, right? As well as the hormone insulin, right? And a hormone called insulin is also made that controls the amount of sugar level in the blood. So whenever you hear about insulin, you should remember that there are some people who have high levels of glucose in their blood and they're diabetic. Basically, having high levels of glucose in your blood is bad for your health, and those people are referred to as diabetic, right? And so basically their body is not making enough insulin to control the levels of glucose in their blood, right? So that is why your pancreas is an important gland which is responsible for making hormones as well as enzymes. So the enzymes like pepsin, like lipase, like amylase and maltase are made by your pancreas, which are then transported to the areas where they are needed through tubes. Like if they're needed in the stomach, then the pancreas has tubes extending from it into the Okay, now so in front of you should be another screen, as we are now moving ahead with the small intestine, right? So the small intestine has a very basic function, and first let's understand the structure of the small intestine, right, before we move on. So the small intestine is composed of 3 parts, with the first one being the duodenum, which you can see is right here. This is the small intestine. Then we have the jejunum, right? The jejunum is the middle section. I'm going to use a different color pen. This is the jejunum, the middle section, and then we have the ileum here, the last section of your small intestine, which is actually at the bottom half, right? Like this. Just get the brief idea here. At the bottom half, right? If I were to use a darker colored pen, here's how I would divide it. So this area here, wait, let me get a black pen, right? So this area here is the duodenum, and this area here, the one that I'm kind of drawing lines at, is the jejunum, and this area here, the one at the bottom here, that's has this red highlighted area here, is your ileum, right? So these are the 3 sections of your small intestine. So this is where absorption of the digested food occurs. So there are finger-like extensions present inside your small intestine called villi that contain blood vessels through which absorption occurs. So what the villi do is that they increase the surface area to allow absorption to happen at a faster rate and are constantly moving, right? Food molecules that are absorbed are then delivered around the body by the blood and then incorporated into the building blocks of the cell. So they say that you are what you eat. This is what this means. So the food molecules absorbed and then are delivered around the body in your circulatory, through your circulatory system, and then used within your cells, used to make your cell components. So basically that what it means, you are what you eat, right? They make the building blocks of the cell, the broken molecules, the molecules that were broken down, like the amino acids, the glucose, or the fatty acids and glycerol, along with some vitamins and minerals and fiber and water. They all work together to make the basic building blocks of your cells, right? And therefore you. Some digestion may occur, for example, in the duodenum. So basically, digestion may, the breakdown of food still occurs in the duodenum region and in the jejunum region and in the ileum region. Mostly absorption occurs here. Absorption does not occur in the first part of the small intestine. A little bit of some digestion does occur here, for example, the breakdown of fats, right? So this is basically the middle section here is your small intestine, and then the outer section here, if I grab maybe let's say this colored pen here, this region here, the most outermost region is your large intestine, right? So what the large intestine does is that it does nothing but to absorb the extra water and salts that are left in the undigested matter, which turns the remains solid and hard, right? It is then stored in the rectum and is removed or digested via the anus, right? So basically the food here, the undigested matter here, may be moving through the colon here, also called the large intestine. Excess water is absorbed along with some salts, making it hard and solid, and then it is stored in this region here, right here, this region here in the rectum, right, which is also a muscular bag. It's stretchable, and when the time has come for it to be removed, it is removed or excreted, and that is when you go to the bathroom to poop, right? Okay, let's understand the structure of the villi here that I spoke about. It is the finger-like extension present in your small intestine that is responsible for the absorption of the digested food molecules, right? So this series here that you can see in between that I'm highlighting here is your network of blood capillaries through which the food molecules, the digested food molecules, enter through diffusion and also by active transport. Remember I told you that glucose enters through active transport. This is what occurs here, right? This is here to the body. So basically these vessels here then link up to other vessels in the body, and then here you can see there are more vessels here, and then they go all the way further, delivering the digested matter to the rest of your body so that they can be incorporated to your cells, right? This is your villi. They're thin, they're constantly moving, they increase the surface area to volume ratio for the sake of a better absorption, right? And this is the structure here. You can see that this area is the stomach, right? The one that I'm just going, it is a J-shaped organ, the stomach, and then this here, the connecting tube, is the duodenum that begins right, that I'm kind of drawing for you guys. And then once it has entered the interior region, this whole region is the jejunum, and this here is the ileum, right? And then you know what happens, it goes to the colon and then to the rectum and then through the anus, digestive, right? Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We're done with this topic and we're going to be continuing, actually finishing off transported plants. I promised that I'd finish that topic for you guys, and I'm going to finish it off. And once we're done with that, we're going to move on with some past paper questions, or maybe some question practice, or whatever you want me to make. Just let me know in the comment box down below, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. YouTube people, subscribe my channel, like, and as for the Facebook viewers, do like, follow, and share my page. Yes, share both my YouTube channel and Facebook page around as much as you can. I'll be making more content for you guys. Well, that's it for today. Have a great day. See you next week.